Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of StoryTime Spotlight. For this week's guest, we have Ketafere. How are you doing, bud?
Yo, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing good. We're surviving. We're doing the best that we can, trying to keep this mental health at top tier levels. So,
Top priorities.
that is top priorities. So, to start this interview off, where did you get your artist name from, or how did it come about?
Well, how it came about, because it doesn't really mean anything per se. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you must be scared of ketamine because it's Ketafere, and some people call me like Ketafere and stuff because they just don't know how to pronounce it. But I was just playing like video games with my friend when I like wanted to release my first DJ mix ever. And I thought like having my last name like DJ Joannis just kind of sounded like a turd. So I was like, I should need like an alias type thing. And we were sending words back and forth like lamp and floor and be like lamp floor. And like we just combined the different words together. And all of a sudden my buddy sent me this word and it was like Ketafere. And I like saw it and I was like, that kind of looks pretty dope. And then I just kind of like pronounced it and then went with that and stuck with it since then.
Yeah, that's solid, especially having one of your friends send that over. And then you're like, you're looking at it, you're pondering off into deep space. And now you're realizing, I'm going to roll with that one. That's not bad at all. So I do like it. It
Yeah,
doesn't roll off the tongue.
yeah, it works for sure because like I was always thinking of stuff to do, and then I was like thinking of like doing my first name backwards, but like I don't know, Ketafere works.
It works though. It definitely works. Now, getting down to the nitty gritty, what DAW do you produce on? Ableton gang, round of applause, round of applause. That's what I love to hear. Yep. And no disrespect to anybody else who creates on any other DAW. I just feel like a lot of people produce on Ableton and it is just a more per se user-friendly DAW and it's kind of easier
I
to
think
understand.
it is just the best overall DAW. Like maybe it's a little bit harder to learn, but once you learn it, it's easy. Maybe it's more organized, but then you like learn how to organize. Like once you learn it, like you'll never go back out of it.
Yes,
Where it's
absolutely.
like I started with FL like barely, but then once someone's like, oh, this is here and that goes to there and the automation goes here, I'm like, oh,
like that works.
It's kind of simple.
Yeah. So speaking of which, what VSTs do you use? What are some of them?
I use Serum a lot for basically like all of the basses and stuff, and I use I used to use Silence a lot, but I don't use it as much anymore. Like with my style changing a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the best free plugin that I use is Wider by Infected Mushroom, or it's Infected Mushroom, or yeah, I think it's Infected Mushroom who made it because it's not Data Life. But it's a free VST, and it basically is one knob, and it takes your sound, and it just widens it or not widens it. And it's like perfect. Instead of doing like a left and right channel, you just literally, and it pushes it to the extent of its abilities, and then all of a sudden your sound's like, it's just so big.
It works out. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out after this.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you can like keep track of like what you're doing, then you can make sure that you have frequencies at like 22% wide, and you have frequencies at 45% wide, 170, and then you can start to like dial them down instead of like up and down. You start dialing them in left and right as well.
Absolutely. Now, when you're starting on a blank canvas, going into your DAW, what are you starting out with?
Just a kick and bass usually.
Just a kick.
Like I'll always just find a kick. Like I'll figure out like kind of what key I want to start with, or what maybe key my like reference track is in, and then I'll just start from there, and then I'll find a kick in that key, and then go to the bass and figure out a pattern, and then usually that pattern leads to whether or not it's going to be like minimal or like a heavy bass house song. And then
oh yeah.
all evolves.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely I definitely,
Oh,
when I was watching other people, before I knew what I was doing, I'm still learning, obviously, but I was always told, if you can't have your mids muted and your track still move you, then, you maybe aren't going to have such a powerful track. So I definitely agree. When I'm going into a track, it's the same thing. I'm starting off with the bass and the kick and just the minimal backbeat, I guess
well,
you
that's
would
the
say.
groove, and then
Yes.
the drums fill the groove, and then everything else. Like I have a remix that's coming, or the remix competition that I'm doing. It's basically all that I added were just a bunch of percussion and drums, and it's kind of like a salsa beat because it's just all drums and bongos and stuff. But that itself is a groove in
Yeah.
itself. Like you don't need a bunch of synths, and it just depends on the vibe.
Yeah. So speaking on that, what would you give some advice to people who are starting out producing? Is there any advice that you would maybe tell them where to start or maybe how to get into things?
I would watch a lot of YouTube tutorials of artists making a track fully through, like how to make track like Dom Dalla, full walkthrough, and have two screens and literally do what the artist is doing for that hour. And then all of a sudden you kind of have a basis of a track, and then you realize what you need, and then you can go from there and then adjust. I think that's
Yeah.
the best, fastest way for anyone to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube is a very useful resource. I can agree on that.
Yeah, I've learned most of my stuff from YouTube and just like friends telling me stuff.
Right. Yeah. Watching people also work in the same diet you're working in definitely helps, considering when you're starting out, you have no idea what you're doing or where to click for a simple EQ. So
Yeah,
YouTube, best friend, absolutely.
100%, 100%.
So what are you doing when you're not producing?
Mountain biking or playing video games, or
What video game are you
I,
into currently?
I play a little bit of Warzone just
Mhm.
with like buddies and stuff, but I'm not that good.
Right.
But I play Dota a lot. I played Dota for like years and years and years. So that's like my go-to game that I just play if I like need a little break from music.
Yeah.
And then I'll like go back to music. But I usually make music like almost every single day if I'm not working. So especially with quarantine, I just like wake up, like do a dab and have some food and either make music or play video games, do a little bit of work, and then repeat the process throughout the day until I'm
There you
tired.
go. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to go into some random questions I wrote down here. So my first random question I have for you is, if you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you be and why?
I think I would be a cheetah.
A cheetah. Okay. Why would you go with cheetah?
Because cheetahs are super fast and they're cute as babies. They're like little tiny little lion cat things. And I don't know. I've just always liked cheetahs
There you
my
go.
whole life.
Okay. Not bad.
Or like an
Okay.
eagle so I could fly.
Ooh, I
Flying would be cool.
know. Flying would be amazing to do. Would you consider yourself more of a sweet or salty person when it comes to snacks?
100% salty. Like I
100.
don't like sweets at all. I don't eat cookies, cake, ice cream, chocolate, like any of that stuff.
Me and you are in the same boat. I love sunflower seeds and pistachios. I am a huge
Yeah, salty.
salty all the
Or
way.
like popcorn.
So,
Movie theater popcorn for sure. Yeah.
oh yeah, most definitely. So, getting on the subject of food, I wrote down here, what would I find in your fridge right now? What are some items that would be in there?
The only thing that's in the fridge where I'm at right now is champagne and beer and
Not
like
bad.
3 eggs. But I'm in Whistler right now, so I don't really
Right.
need
Right. Okay. So, what about if you won the lottery? What would you do with the money?
I would throw a crazy huge party. I would literally like throw a huge party in Vancouver and make all the tickets at cost just to fuck with the whole system and sell out in the first day and then go from there.
There you go. Not bad.
But
Not
I
bad.
just booked anyone I wanted to, just book the Pacific Coliseum. And like if costs for fuck Tiesto, Fisher, and Chainsmokers, like if cost and everything with 5,000 people is like $49, but usually you like buy a ticket for like 130, 150 or whatever. We'll
Right.
sell the ticket at $50,
There you go.
which will just like it'll fuck with people, and then it'll sell out so fast, and then it'll start a rumor, and then it'll be like a.
So this sounds like
party for
something
the
you've
sake of
mentally
party.
thought of beforehand.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like a previous thought.
There's long-term plans of takeover.
Absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
To teleport.
Ooh, solid.
And just because teleporting, I think, would be the best. I could go anywhere. I could be anywhere at any time. And you could also like win every fight or dodge bullets because you could just teleport to over here or teleport there. Or you could teleport in the same spot for like 50 times, which makes everything go through you.
See? Look at that. See,
or you could teleport in the air, like as you fly. You teleport forward. You teleport forward again.
And it's crazy that you said teleport because that's always my second one. I always say for my first one, the ability to fly. Like that's it. Just so I could just, bounce out and go wherever. Shoot, I'll be in Vancouver.
But if you teleported forward and up, you would be flying.
just in different places. Okay, not too bad. Who are some artists that inspire you?
Fisher's a big inspiration. I love that goofball dude. And I like Stoffelstein a lot.
Yeah,
like, to do some like grimier stuff. And Will Sparks has always been like one of my favorite artists. Like I love bounce music.
Yes,
a lot. So, and I think it's kind of died down, but it'll come back. I think everything's just going through a phase, like a pendulum.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of artists that you mentioned, I feel like they grow as the time passes, and they almost like morph into like a new era of this artist. People.
Yeah, well, you have to be somewhat commercial no matter what, even if you are doing your own style. True. Even if you're doing dubstep, you have to have somewhat of a commercial dubstep sound if you want to play EDC.
Right.
Or you can go play a little bush stuff in fucking Vegas in the desert, and that'll be cool, but you want to play at EDC on that bass stage and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's like Chainsmokers. Everything that they release is a pop song that's played on the radio. But when you go see them play, they play hardstyle, psytrance, trap.
Indeed. Yeah. I can confirm. I have seen them quite a bit of times. So that is a true statement.
That's just smart marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you want to be able to, be played on the radio for more of a mass audience to grow, to come to your brand. So absolutely, I 100% agree with that. What are some of your goals for 2021?
I don't know. Some of my goals are just to release with some bigger labels.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And it just really depends with COVID. Like, I don't really have too many goals at the moment because I'm just waiting for life to change. But like only goals would be just, like either collabing or release with someone or releasing on a bigger label. Other than that, everything else has been put on hold. Like I was supposed to move to Amsterdam, that's put on hold. Like I can't go DJ in Japan, that's put on hold. So I can't have those goals because I know that I can't have those goals type thing. So I have like 2 goals, and all the other goals are just chilling and waiting right now.
They're just waiting. They're waiting for COVID to just fly and teleport away.
Exactly. I just need it to be gone.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Well, speaking of which, is there anything else that you would like to promote or anyone that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yes, I have a release that's coming out on UFO Records with my buddy Parkinson's from Africa. It's coming out on the 22nd. Yes,
there you go.
22nd. And then the track that's coming out with you guys on the 16th, I believe.
Absolutely, yes. And other than that, I do appreciate you taking your time to do this interview with us. So we greatly appreciate that.
Thank you for the invite.
Of course. And once again, everyone, my name is Matt Campbell. This has been a Storytime Spotlight with Ketafere.
Ciao.